All right, good afternoon. I'd like to call the September 25th Internal Services Committee meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next I'll take a motion to approve the agenda. Motion from Myjack, support from Romano. Please vote.
Yes.
It's thinking.
Do we have to give it an impact adjustment?
I don't know, I was gonna check on iPads prior to the meeting
The meeting started in 5 minutes.
Sure.
All right, voice vote. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, the agenda's adopted. Next is approval of minutes. We'll just do A, B, and C in their entirety.
Absolutely.
Take a motion from Sauger, support from Kleinfeld. Any questions? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The minutes are approved. Next up is public participation. Anybody from the public wishing to speak? Going once, going twice. Trying to give Mike a little bit of time. We'll close public participation. We'll move on to 6A, department recommendations. A budget amendment, capital improvement fund, cable replacement, and electrical upgrades in the amount of $1,109,763. I'll take a motion to recommend a full board approval from Commissioner Duge, support from Sauger. Lynn, go ahead.
The purchasing department solicited bids on the Mitten site for the underground cable replacement and electrical upgrades project. 347 vendors were notified of the solicitation, 34 vendors viewed the documents, and 2 sealed bids were received and publicly read in the purchasing department on August 22nd. The major scope of the project is actually the replacement of the 2 existing 15 kW underground electrical cable. This cable runs from the Dunham switchgear into the Raccoon substation and then to the pad-mounted transformers that are located north of the powerhouse. Also included in this project is the repair of the walls and roof of the electrical vault, which is actually located in manhole number 7. Also a part of the project pertains to the administration building. It is the replacement of the underground 15 kV cable, and it runs from the DTE pad-mounted switch into the substation that is in the lower level of the admin building. This is 3-phase, it's 4,800 volts. Also, the Hall Road warehouse. We are replacing the 15 kV underground cable from the DTE pole that is located on Hall Road into the north end of the outside transformers. And this is 3-phase and 13,200 volts. Also, we're doing some cleaning, maintenance, and testing of transformers, switchgear, substation, as it relates to the court building. Interviews were conducted after the receipt of bids. Based on the interviews, we are recommending an award to Burnco, who is actually utilizing Motor City Electric as their electrical subcontractor, in the amount of $1,109,763.
Thank you, Lynn. Any questions or comment? Commissioner Romano.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Lynn. We had a little discussion before the meeting. Lynn, 2 questions. First one is, how old are the existing cables, and what's the longevity of the new cables going in?
Well, it depends who you talk to.
Okay, who talked to you?
Some testing people indicate you get 10 years out of the cables. Some of our cables are from 1998. What impacts the cable is actually the insulation. And when they test the cables, they're testing the integrity of the insulation around the cables. And that's affected by heat, cold, moisture, vibration, So there's all different factors that affect the cable. When the testing was done, for instance, in this building, it's a three-phase. When they tested the one line, it was showing very low resistance, so a lot of the electrical current was actually escaping. So you can tell that the insulation is deteriorating. They did not want to test any more of the phases because they're running current, more higher voltage current to test it. And one thing you don't want to do is fry those lines, because then we'd be doing an emergency replacement rather than a planned.
Do we get a guarantee with these, Lynn? I mean, is the longevity guarantee 10 years, 12 years, the new lines?
Not really, because so many factors, you know, we have some cable that's from 98. Obviously, there's older cable, there's newer cable, but it's all those factors that, impact.
Thank you. That's all I have, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Thank you. I was trying to look through here. I was looking, I guess, at the standard agreement. Do we have anywhere in this where they hold us harmless for anything that happens on the job?
There's definitely insurance requirements in the specifications, and when we receive their insurance document, we send that to risk management, and they review it and approve it.
Okay. Usually, well, for like the future, I mean, don't we usually put that in writing when we're doing a contract?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, they have to conform with all the insurance requirements contained in the
couldn't find it.
specifications.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Carabelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Lynn, thank you very much. Quick question. We're not replacing any of the conduit sleeves at all? We're reusing existing?
Well, in the case of Hall Road, we don't believe there's not a spare conduit, which is the DTE standard. We believe it's direct burial. So,
So we'll be adding a conduit there?
yeah. So it depends. In certain areas, obviously at the service center, we have conduit, so we'll be utilizing that.
Okay, are we going to, and I don't know if any fiber optics or anything else coming in, obviously you can't use the same sleeve.
Right.
But is that, if we're doing that, is that something that we're going to add additional sleeves in, if they are going to add new conduit?
That's not included in this project. I know there's fiber that is definitely designated on the site, so we don't run into that cable in the replacement.
Okay, I'm just thinking long-term, if they are going to replace any sleeving, that they add some additional in. And I know it's an added cost, but long-term it'll be very beneficial. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Duge.
Thank you. Lynn, do they have to put up a bond when they're doing this? Does Burnco or whoever?
Yes.
And
There's a-
that's in the, I hope that's in the contract and so on and so forth.
Yes, in the specifications, there's the specifications that's developed by the architect and the engineer, and then there's also specifications, what they call the front-end boilerplate of purchasing.
Okay,
So then that requires performance bonds, labor and materials bonds, payment
okay.
bonds.
So we're covered as far as
Yes.
all that goes. How much fluctuation does something like this go through on a daily basis, let's say, just from full-blown 100% use to whatever minimal use there could be? As far as voltage, as far as amperage, because that's going to eat up the cable.
Yes, yes. The engineers look at that testing, and they
Yeah.
can see, and they measure peak times and non-peak times. I don't have that information with me,
All right, fair enough.
but I have a stack of testing reports.
I imagine you do, but I'd be interested to see what 100% load, when and how much, and what's the fluctuation on a daily, I don't know if they do it per day, per week, what. But I'd be interested in seeing that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions or comments, please vote. Motion passes 10-0. Next is item 6B, the contract for Burnco Inc. electrical cable replacement and electrical upgrades for the amount of $1,109,763. Motion from Commissioner Romano, support from Commissioner Duje. Please vote. Thank you, Commissioner Duje. Motion passes 10-0. Next is item 6C, a budget amendment from the Capital Improvement Fund, Adapt View panels overhauls and eddy current testing in the amount of $198,142. I'll take a motion to recommend the full board approve. Motion from Commissioner Haas, support from Commissioner Sauger. Lynn, go ahead.
This project involves the rebuilding of two chillers that are located in the administration building. Also, we're going to put new, updated control panels, and as indicated, the eddy tube testing. The chillers are a major component of the air conditioning system. Chillers provide chilled water to the cooling system. Due to age, hours, and actually the starts when you start and stop equipment, we believe, based on the testing, that it is recommended to be rebuilt. This is a sole source item. This is the equipment. The chillers are manufactured by Trane. So in order to rebuild them, you use Trane parts. So that is the explanation for the sole source. So we are recommending award in the amount of $198,142.
All right, any other questions? I don't see any. All right, please vote.
Thank you.
Motion passes 10-0. Next is item 6D, agreement with Trane for Adapt View panels overhauls and eddy current testing in the amount of $198,142. Motion from Commissioner Romano, support from Commissioner Carabelli. Please vote. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
Motion passes 10-0. Next up, 6F, budget amendment from the Capital Improvement Fund, group-wise to exchange online migration in the amount of $28,000. I'll take a motion to approve that. Motion from Commissioner Sauger. Support from Commissioner Duje. Jaco, go ahead. Veronica's giving me
Good
looks.
afternoon, Commissioners. At the Sheriff's Department, we have 672 mailboxes. We use GroupWise to serve mail for the Sheriff's Office, and we do own, in our Microsoft agreement, we own Microsoft Exchange. And so the plan here is to move the Sheriff's Department over to Microsoft Exchange. We currently have also the Department of Roads that we set up with Microsoft Exchange, which is what they had before. So at that time, we will reduce the county's different email systems that we have to 2. Currently, we have 3. So the main goal here is to save money, and we believe in less than 18 months there's an ROI by going this route. So the process is pretty. It's not that hard. It's just a process where you have to be very diligent, and there's tools involved, and that's why we're hiring a company to do this for us.
Thank you, Jacob. I think I know why Commissioner Kleinfeld was giving me looks. I have 2 different agendas and 2 different orders of things. There's a statement of work, and then there's... All right, fair enough. Commissioner Ha.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jaco, you indicated the intent is to save money. How exactly does this save money switching from
It's-
3 to 2?
It saves money. Currently, we're paying $20,000 per year for GroupWise. And we also have maintenance that we pay for Microsoft. Our Microsoft agreement includes Microsoft Word, Excel, all these different tools that you have, but it also includes Microsoft Exchange. You don't buy it separately, it's one bundle. So in essence, we're going to save $20,000 a year on, by doing this.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Romano.
Commissioner Hall asked my question, how much are we going to save? $30,000? I like that. I'm done, I withdraw.
Perfect. Thank you. Commissioner Duge.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jaco, I understand the group-wise. Question as far as the clerk's office. The clerk's office had gone to Google for everything. Are they still on Google?
The clerk's office, as well as the rest of the county, are on Google. And that is something that we are going to look at probably in the next year, year and a half. The situation there is exactly the same thing. The financial impact is just much bigger. We currently pay $230,000 a year for Google. Converting the whole county to Microsoft Exchange will save $230,000. So that's the other part of this project. At this point in time, we want to do the sheriff's department. We've sat down with them and.
No, and I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But there was, I remember the discussion that we had originally when the clerk's office was going to Google. We had Microsoft on the line and we had Google on the line, and Google seemed to offer us more services than Microsoft did.
Yeah, that is, in my view, definitely not the case.
Okay.
You know, they are the two market leaders today. If you go out and research it, you will see that Microsoft Exchange as well as Google are the two market leaders in, you know, providing mail. Microsoft Exchange has been around for forever, but they've gained a lot of market share, and so did Google. So at this point in time, they're the two leaders, and both provide, you know, very, very similar
Is it really,
features.
there's nobody, they don't stand out from one
Yeah,
or one or the
you know,
other?
You will always find some are good in this and some are good in that, but, you know, all in all, as an enterprise email system, Microsoft Exchange is excellent.
All right.
And they've been doing this for decades.
All right, fair enough. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Jaco. Nice job.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions, please vote. Motion passes 10-0. Next, I believe since I just did the dollar one, we'll do the statement of work for Trace 3 group-wise to exchange online migration. Motion from Commissioner Carabelli, support from Commissioner Romano. Please vote. Motion passes 10-0. All right, next up is item 6G, Budget Amendment Capital Improvement Fund for the virtual desktop project in the amount of $314,399.44. Take a motion to recommend to full board the approval. Motion from Commissioner Haw, support from Commissioner Kleinfeld. Jaco, go ahead.
The Information Technology Department recognized the need for a secure means for network users and local municipalities to come into our network and, you know, use our resources. There's a strong inherent value in providing secure remote access. We currently use other technologies to provide VPN access, but there's a fundamental difference between a regular VPN, which means that data go across your network in and out, doesn't matter from where you log in. When it comes to this type of remote access, the data stay in our data center. It's input and output that's provided to the user. So it makes a big difference for us from a security standpoint to be able to do that, but also to be able to manage it effectively. One of the services that drive this also is the fact that we deliver services to our CVTs, specifically for fire as well as law enforcement. And we've done extensive testing and determined that this product that we want to implement is the product that's going to provide us all the benefits that we need to do this securely and effectively.
Any questions? I don't see any. Commissioner Carabelli.
Thank you, Jaco. Hey, not a computer guy, just want to ask a question. So is this the remote into your desktop?
That's the remote into a virtual desktop. So if I can explain that.
Let me throw this at you, because I was just dealing with this earlier today. I have a Mac computer at home,
Yep.
and my work computer is Microsoft-based. I used to have an app called Jump, and then now they switched it over. Microsoft actually has a app for Apple that I hit it, the guy set it up, and it brings me to my desktop.
Yep.
And I literally, like you said, everything's doesn't come to me, it's from my desktop, so I'll send an email
That's
from
correct.
my desktop. So is this what we're talking about?
That's what we're talking about. So when you send that email or when you log into your desktop, your data stays, it's just like you
Right.
sit in front of your desktop. So the data,
Little
it's
slower.
like you're sitting there and you're moving data back and forth from there. It's not going over that connection to your house
Got
or
it.
wherever you log in.
All right,
from.
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions, please vote. Sounded good, though. Motion passes 10-0. Next is 6H purchase, Trace 3 virtual desktop project in the amount of $314,399.44. Motion by Commissioner Romano, support from Commissioner Duje. Please vote. Motion passes 10-0. Next up, item 6I, purchase CBI Telecommunications Consultants Global Telecom Expense Management in the amount of $106,200. Motion to recommend to full board the approval from Commissioner Myjack, support from Commissioner Ha. Jaco, go ahead.
This proposal calls for a 3-year contract at an annual cost of $35,400. Over 3 years, it'll be $106,000. The company CBI Communications claimed that we will save about $115,000 by doing this. They have a $10,000 fee that they waive to implement this for us. We started talking to this company quite a while ago, and the main reason for this is, personally, I have quite a bit of background in the telecom side for the county, because I used to do this work as a telecom project manager, and it really takes up a lot of time to dedicate somebody that can take care of all our AT&T accounts. It is very difficult to go through those accounts and make sure that everything that we pay for is 100% legitimate. What these companies do is they use software to do that. So they have software that set up alerts for them that can, help them when anything is out of the ordinary. And then, obviously act on that. And that is pretty much their business. That's what they do on a daily basis. We believe that that implementing this will save us quite a bit of money in the long run. And it's just a good thing for us to do for the county. And I just want to emphasize that this is telecommunication funding.
Thank you, Jaco. Commissioner Brown.
Thank you. You said they represented that they could save us
$15,000, based on what? And what if they
They-
don't?
they
And
based-
how do we track that?
They based it on similar spending in other organizations that has similar spending than us, and one of the organizations is also Oakland County. If you look at it, this was actually a bid that was put out by Oakland County, pretty recently. And I think that was a refresh of their original bid. And they have done that in Oakland County, and that's how they came up with these numbers. Obviously, you can understand that they cannot give us exact numbers until they start working with our environment. But that is kind of the average amount of money that they save with the amount of spending.
What
that
type of
we-
work would they come across with that they would need to do something for us?
What type of work?
Yeah, what, you say they're gonna make sure everything we have is proper and,
Yeah, so we have 60, I think 62 or 63 phone bills every month. There, and that includes phone lines, it includes circuits, things like that. And just as you probably look at your home bill, some of these bills, especially on a county basis, our main phone bill, has hundreds of numbers on it, and there's a lot of information in that phone bill, given on a monthly basis. So what they do is they set it up in their software, and like I said, then something I did manually for the county when I took over as a telecom project manager in 2007 was literally sitting down with AT&T for over a year on, 2-3 times a week, working through all the phone numbers, checking, making sure that this phone number still exists. And then, because everything is hidden, you don't see like a normal phone bill, you have 2 phone numbers, and it shows up, and you have, these numbers are all in there. You don't necessarily see the numbers, so it's very difficult to know exactly. It's only when changes take place that you see the actual phone number in your bill. So just to do something like that, it is a really big undertaking. And I think
it's basically auditing AT&T.
Yeah, they basically auditing AT&T phone bills. That's what they do.
Thank you.
And they do it constantly.
Thank you. Must have been maddening for you trying to do it.
Yeah, it was quite an undertaking. And the issue there is, after I did that, I stepped away and did other things, and then very quickly it starts going by the wayside, because if you don't have somebody that attend to that every day, it's pretty much an impossible task.
Could you check and see if they're still billing us for the pager that I have from the county?
I'll check.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Carabelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jaco, I've seen this before, and usually it comes out well, so I'm going to ask this. Just rough figures, we're saving just under $3,000 a year, just under $9,000 over the life of a 3-year contract. Are they guaranteeing that $115,376, or they're just saying we could save up to that?
That it is not a guarantee. That's what I said earlier. It's very difficult to, until they get in our environment and look at everything and do that. But I can tell you from my experience going through this, we saved thousands and thousands of dollars. And it was,
I'm not
it was
disagreeing.
done manually. So, when you do it with software, you can do so much more in a shorter amount of time. So I truly believe that this will benefit us.
Okay,
as a county.
and I don't disagree with you. It's a 3-year contract, is there an out after a year if we don't like the results that we see?
That I don't know. I have to look at
I would
the
ask you
contract.
just to check it, because
Yep,
again, if
I will
I'm saving
check it.
$3,000 a year, and we're not going to save the 115 total, then we have to take a look at it, maybe costing us a little bit more if we don't realize those savings. But
Yeah.
I am in favor, and I think it's a good idea, especially when it said staff time payment processing, you're saving around $22,500, so when budget time, don't be coming and ask if this gets approved for additional help. Thank you. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner. Jaco, one question from me. I see there's a proposal in there. Is there a statement of work, a contract that you guys are working on?
This is pretty much their statement of work for what they're going to do for us.
Okay.
So we asked that question, but this is how they do it. We're buying it through the Oakland County bid, and that's how they do it, so.
Okay, obviously there's a dollar
Because
amount.
we prefer when there's a signature on the page and you can sign and so on, but that's how they did it.
Okay, obviously there's a pretty exact dollar amount, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure because I just saw a proposal. I didn't see anything to supplement that, so I wasn't sure if that's something else you would be going out for or if this is,
This
is
is
it.
pretty much it.
okay. All right, thank you, Jaco. Any other questions? Seeing none, please vote. Motion passes 10-0. All right, for the next two items, I want to start off just making a suggestion that we would just move these two items to full board without a recommendation for approval. We received updated numbers about an hour ago now, so I would like the commissioners to have some time to take a look at those. I don't want to slow this down or stop it, but I would like the commissioners to have at least a day to take a look at them. Having said that, I will take a motion to move item J, Budget Amendment, Capital Improvement Fund, Jail Surveillance Project, and the amount of $301,976 to full board.
You need another motion for another item, you said there's two items.
We're gonna go through one at a time. I just wanted
I'll
to,
make that motion.
okay, motion
Thank you.
from Commissioner Myjack for J. Is there support? Support from Commissioner Ha? Jaco, go ahead.
I think that, the commissioners are well aware of this project. We've worked with Crystal over the past month pretty much to provide the information that was requested. I do believe that like you said, the amendment changed, so obviously the correct number will be given to you. But other than that, if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Jaco. Yep, we're definitely aware of the project. It was just the dollar amounts
Yep.
flexing a little bit. And my iPad is being temperamental. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Commissioner Kleinfeld?
So I was trying to figure out what portion of the project, whatever the dollar amount is, what portion of the project it is. And I know we have the table where we have the blue section that says "to be completed." You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So, and I know we didn't have a contract for the original amount, but if the "to be completed" is like fiber installation, then that is something we would want them to have insurance or be held harmless, because that puts bodies in there doing work, correct, where they could get injured. And usually, that's the last thing in a contract. So, depending on what this dollar amount is for, it would make that, I was surprised that we had a project of this nature where we didn't have that to begin with. So I don't know if there's any way to get that for the remainder of the project, if it is laying down fiber installation. If it is fiber installation, laying down.
Yeah, the fiber, the network cabling and fiber installation is, something that's done in the jail. And I honestly have to check to see if there isn't insurance involved in this. Because I know in the overall project, there was insurance money in the budget, so I don't know.
There was.
I will have to check with.
Okay,
them.
if you could try to check on that, that was my biggest concern, since we didn't have anything in writing indicating that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. If anybody has questions, raise your hand or comments, because I'm struggle bussing right now. All right, seeing no other questions. Commissioner Carabelli.
Thank you. Jacob, just so I'm clear, this was budgeted for, and it's costing, and I don't have the number in front of me, 300 and some odd $1,000 more than what originally anticipated.
That's correct.
Okay. And I'm sorry, did you touch on why it's costing more? What branch, which part of this?
So what's costing more is that, you know, I think there's multiple factors, but there are certain things that we were not aware of prior to this project starting when it was spec'd. It was the availability of conduit in the jail. There's conduit in the jail. We couldn't reuse the conduit that was in the jail. So that had to be built out new. There's also, when we sat down with the sheriff's office, specifically in the light of things that has happened lately, we decided, I asked the sheriff's office to spec it with that in mind. And what they've done was, there's cameras in place that we didn't anticipate before in specific areas, and it has to do with,
Sure.
making sure that we are in a good position from a legal standpoint. And then added some cameras to the towers. So those are kind of the main, and then the other part of that is to storage. So when you add more cameras, there's more storage to save the footage from the cameras.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, we'll do a voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Full board, yes.
Moving it to full board, yes.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next is item K, contracts for jail surveillance, Motor City Electric Technologies, materials and installation in the amount of $1,209,637. Presidio for network equipment installation in the amount of $149,683. And Metro Technology Services for additional project management fee totaling $20,283. And same as last one, I'll take a motion to move this to full board. Motion by Commissioner Sauger, support from Commissioner Duje. Jaco?
That's it.
Any questions or comments? Commissioner Kleinfeld?
Obviously, the recommended motion was different, correct?
It was to move it to full board without a recommendation, if that makes sense.
No, but I mean, the original motion on here, his recommended was the 310,000, and our motion was the 1.2. Our recommended motion. And I'm assuming that's because we had not done the original, but I don't know I don't know that we want to go that route. So can we just motion this to full board without a dollar amount? The same we did the last one?
That's fine with me as long as it's okay with the motion maker and
Okay,
supporter.
thank you.
Yep, okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions or comments?
It will be a total of $1,560,000 will be the total, the way I understand it.
Yeah, I got it in the.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, if we choose to approve after the fact, I mean, that's a philosophical decision, I guess.
Any other, all right, any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none, we'll do a voice vote again. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Jaco.
Thank you.
Nice job today. New business. Any commissioners with new business? All right, seeing none, we'll close new business. Public participation. Anybody from the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, we will close public participation. Next meeting begins at 3 o'clock, correct? Yes. All right, take a motion to adjourn from Commissioner Duje, support from Commissioner Romano. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We're adjourned.